Let's look at Glenn Youngkin. He put a lot of political capital out there in these midterms, paid off in the second, didn't so much in the 7th and 10th. You know, I've had some suggest to me, I mean, that's what's expected of the person who is perceived as the party leader. So win or lose, you know, putting himself out there was what you have to do. I mean, do you think his political stock was diminished at all through this, or was it, you know, sort of an overall, perceived as an overall help, at least among Republicans?
Well, I think it helped him among Republicans for sure, but he went all out in those 3 races, and a number of others. He campaigned as well, and put a little bit of his political stock on the line. He talked about leading a major red wave that was going to start in Virginia and spread throughout the country. Okay, that certainly didn't happen. On the other hand, to be fair, the 10th district, I think, was always the longest of long shots. The 7th district, I think, was very difficult, and most of us did not expect any different outcome. I think even Elaine Luria didn't expect a different outcome in the 2nd district. So I'm really not sure how much of a difference he could have made, but I've said before, I think the bigger reputational risk he has taken is his relentless campaigning out of state, campaigning on behalf of people such as Carrie Lake, election deniers. He now owns that. He threaded the needle beautifully in 2021. He was able to maintain the MAGA base while at the same time appeal to swing voters, be seen as a generally benign conservative Republican, not a Trump acolyte. And people nationally talked about him as representing perhaps the future of the Republican Party in his ability to thread the needle in the way that he did. But I think he's more so shown his colors recently by the people he's campaigned for out of state. And I don't think it's been entirely popular with Virginians, the amount of time that their governor is spending outside of the Commonwealth. Bob and I remember Doug Wilder in 1992, there was a popular bumper sticker in Virginia, Wilder for resident. Okay,
but
people got annoyed about the guy. You know, he gets elected and suddenly he's going national and he's out of state all the time campaigning. You know, why is the governor not here governing?
Yeah.
And that was a fraction, by the way, of what Glenn Youngkin's been doing. Yeah. So Youngkin for resident. Yeah.
Is there a difference between that, though? We remember when Tim Kaine was governor, he was head of the DNC. He was traveling around. That was later in his term. It wasn't within his first year. But Bob, is there a difference then? And does this really
you're actually campaigning for president? Both Tim Kaine and Jim Gilmore took jobs as head of their respective national parties or national committees during their governorship. But I think that's a little different than actually announcing I might run for president. And as I said, that's the timetable, because of the legislative session, is problematic, because people are going to be announcing, maybe tonight, and then, further on, early 2023, if he's going to get in the race that's there. At the same time, let's be honest about it as well. If he doesn't announce and he continues to do fairly well as governor with the public, he's going to be automatically shortlist candidate for vice president for any Republican candidate there. So he has a couple of national opportunities. One, does he take the big risk and run for president? 2, does he try to maneuver himself into a short list for the vice presidency? And we'll have to see how that works out. Polling in Virginia, until recently, he still looks pretty good on that front. But if you go for national office before you serve your 4-year term, that's a bigger risk.